we got to talk about Crackgate, because apparently that's what it's called. Thanks, Gizmodo. There's a headline that Vision Pro units are cracking down the middle. Now, we originally planned to talk about Vision Pro just as far as like, it's like a month later. How much are we still thinking about using, analyzing Vision Pro stuff?
I just wanted to know how often you're still using it, pretty much.
So I bought one. I picked it up from the store, and my trajectory of using it, like when I was testing it for the review, multiple times a day, every day, lots of usage. And then I would still be using it every day, but a little bit less every day. Now I don't use it every day anymore. And it's really, there's just not that many apps. Every time I see a new article about a couple new apps that came out, I would read that and be like, is there something else I can do? Because right now, not a lot.
Quick shout out to Jacqueline.
Yeah.
Who did. Yeah. She used all of the apps.
It's like 600 or
Is that video out yet? Or I don't know if it's...
She started working on it.
I think she's working on it. I don't think it's out quite yet. But
Can you
maybe by the time
imagine
this comes out.
using all of the apps on iPhone?
That's wild.
I am having 600 apps installed at once would be interesting. I wonder if you did, like,
she would have to do it in chunks and then probably delete some. And
yeah,
then,
because the storage would be interesting.
Yeah.
And most of them are just iPad compatible apps and not like actual Vision
So the
Pro
600
apps, right?
the 600 apps are Vision Pro apps, and then the millions of other apps are iPad compatible apps for Vision Pro. But Crackgate is completely different. I mean, it just is literally like they've started cracking down the middle.
Whoops.
And we brought ours here because this is our review unit that has been in the studio. That has also not really been used as much since the review.
I think it's
least
been touched
2
in like a week or more.
Yeah.
And I just want
We're going to check it. Well, while you open that up, the crack we're talking about is like this perfectly straight crack almost directly down the middle of the unit. And there are multiple pictures online of people doing it, saying they didn't drop it. They're keeping it in the case, and it's just cracking right up the middle. It reminds me of when the Pixel 7 was just like, the lens was just like a perfect circle breaking. It's out.
Ours is not cracked. So
I'm a little
That's
bummed.
unfortunate.
That would have been a great clip.
what ours has had since very early is a little micro scratch near the top, because I think if you put this into like carelessly with the battery and the metal and the stuff that's around this thing, it can just like grab and scrape it. So you can get little scrapes on it, but we don't have this like telltale like massive crack up the middle, which seems, apparently it doesn't affect the sensors, but I feel like that has to damage something.
A couple of the people that I read about, there's a Reddit thread on someone who used it who says they only use it while they're in their bed and then they put it in the soft case afterwards. And it has not the crack top to bottom, but maybe about a quarter of the way up. And they said it didn't affect any of the like sensors or anything. So like, if that's the case, it's not really affecting it. But if I spent $3,500 on this thing and it had a giant crack up the middle by no fault of my own, I would be very upset.
I think people are going to keep using it cracked. You know how many cracked iPhones people use and just forget the crack exists? If it doesn't affect the usage, it's just...
Plus, thanks to Sam Cole, we know that you can destroy the entire outer like glass and it will still work perfectly.
Yeah, apparently
fine.
you can just take it off.
I feel like the difference of using a cracked iPhone, though, is like not wanting to give up using your phone for a little while you get a new one or whatever that is, where this is like, people aren't using this as often. They spent way more money on it.
Isn't also...
It is 2 weeks, like a month old, and it's cracking by no fault. Most people who use a cracked iPhone dropped it and are like, that was my fault.
Yeah.
I have to live with my own problem.
It's also $800
to fix
replace the cracked outside glass. If you have Apple Care, it's $300.
Do we think Apple is going to do a recall and do free repairs for this?
Well, so the question will be, why is this happening? If this is happening because there's a flaw of the design, and like this is a contour piece of glass, I think that's why it's probably at least kind of worth considering. Is this piece of glass is like one piece, but obviously it's got this like pinch point in the middle and it's curved and it's like rounded around the edges. If it's happening because of the design, then there is a reason that they could give everyone a free replacement for cracks. But if it's happening just because a bunch of people happen to put it at the same angle, or if you drop it at just the right angle, Apple will make every excuse for you're holding it wrong. You should not put it in a case like this.
Sam Cole dropped it like 20 times over his head before it like eventually just completely shattered.
Yeah.
And the line seems like too perfect.
It's way too perfect.
I mean, something happened very similar with like late 2010s McLarens where everyone was getting their windshield, like the windshield was just cracking out of nowhere because I guess they were using some sort of like experimental brittle glass for the windshield, and they just replaced it for free because McLaren actually has great warranties.
That's good.
This is like so perfectly straight that I don't even think it's people doing it on purpose to start something. Like if you wanted to take a knife and put a scratch straight down the middle, you couldn't do it this straight. It is like perfectly just shooting straight up the middle.
This is the type of thing that happens with an event, like some stress on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or stress due to like weird design.
I wonder if you just like...
Do we think it's heat related potentially?
Temperature is like a
temperature?
great...
It is starting from the bottom, and isn't that where a lot of the heat comes out
True.
from?
Heat
So,
comes
like-
out the top,
Oh,
in from the bottom.
well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. But the bottom is also...
Wait, is it starting from the bottom or is it starting?
The reason I would guess starting from the bottom is because some of the photos I'm seeing are only cracked from the bottom, and I haven't seen ones that are only cracked from the top. They may be out there. I may be wrong, but
No, yeah.
I would assume it starts from the bottom.
Now it's here.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, this is weird. I would be really bummed about this if I spent this much money on this a month in with no fault of my own.
If you had one and you were using it and enjoying it and you got this little crack halfway through the middle but it didn't affect usage, would you just keep using it and not do anything?
I would argue like crazy to get it fixed without paying for it.
Yeah.
And then I probably would still use it because it would be past the return window. And there's a difference between needing to like, there's nothing I can do anymore, but I would consider that a bad customer experience for sure.
This
Definitely.
Gizmodo post says that some people are like speculating that's a possible software bug that causes the Vision Pro to not enter sleep mode, which then leads to run hot and expand the frame and crack at the weak point of the glass.
I mean, I believe for sure that this is the weak point of the glass because they're all initiating the crack from the same part. And if you put the Vision Pro in the case with the battery still attached, it will stay on. It's supposed to sleep, and it doesn't fully turn off, but it's supposed to sleep. I wonder if that is something that could actually happen. It gets really hot in the case. You take it out the next morning, and it's cracked because it was still trying to turn
Let's
stuff
put it
off.
in the oven and see what happens.
I think what we should do is just turn it on and then leave it on and just close it. That's probably what a lot of people are going to do. They'll just...
I don't want to do it on purpose, but maybe if you're out there and you have a Vision Pro,
Tech Rex.
don't make sure this is off when you put it away. Yeah. Unplug it when you put it away.
I get that the middle would be the weak point of the glass, but wouldn't the top be weaker than the bottom? Wouldn't that nice little nose arch actually give you some structural
No clue.
stability?
I mean, usually curved glass is just going to be
weaker. I thought curve. No. I don't know if that's true because the curve at the bottom of a wine bottle, aka the punt for my trivia heads, that is what creates all the structural stability for a wine bottle. And it's the same reason restaurant glasses have the lip compared to home glasses because it gives them a lot.
But then
more,
what
like-
about like the Galaxy Edge phones from back in the day? Those were
Impact.
always
we need a
more
structural?
This is also
Is-
glass glued to
You
aluminum.
just turned it on.
And aluminum does have a lot of flex compared to other metals.
Yeah.
But another thing we should talk about that no one is saying,
No one.
not
Not a single article.
I'm the first. The crack is right over the LiDAR sensor.
It looks slightly to the right of it.
Slightly to
in
the
this
right of
photo.
it?
Yeah.
It's still on it though, right? Is that it right there?
Yeah, the LiDAR sensor is the one in the center.
right up the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No one's saying it.
No one's saying it.
So how would LiDAR cause glass to break?
I don't know enough about glass or lasers to tell you.
Laser sounds dangerous. I bet it could break glass.
I don't know what frequencies or how many bands or like what is going on in the Vision Pro LiDAR sensor. But thinking smaller and simpler, maybe the sensor also just gets hot
Yeah.
because it does have a laser.
Well, I'm more thinking of it just along the lines of if it's over the LiDAR sensor, is it messing up the LiDAR
No
sensor?
one has said so. So
nothing I've seen here seems to say anything's wrong with it
Yeah.
or like changes the experience in it.
Well, all of this is speculation. I mean, I think we'll probably get an answer soon enough if we keep getting people. Because remember when like the Galaxy Fold starting having issues, and one person had issues, and then 3, and then 7, and then it was like, okay, now Samsung realizes they have to say something.
Yeah.
We'll see how many people have this cracking issue, and if Apple has to say something, then we'll learn. Awesome. Nice beep. But also, shout out to Joanna Stern's article of Vision Pro. She had a month with Vision Pro at this point, and the headline is "In the air, on a train, and in a drawer." The 3 most common places that you will have Vision Pro.
Joanna Stern can't miss lately.
I know.
It's fantastic.
It's a great headline.
If you are not following Joanna Stern, you need to follow her right now. Because she also did a great newsletter about her Apple FineWoven case and how poorly it has aged over the 6 months since it's been
You mean
released.
how finally it has patinaed?
This thing looks like it's been on the floor of a storage locker for like a decade. It is terrible. And she's not the only one having these issues too. I think we all, when we first felt the FineWoven case, were like,
I was not a fan.
this feels terrible.
I'm not a fan.
Like suede or
But
something.
it somehow ages worse than it is from the start. 9to5Mac also did an article about that the FineWoven cases are junk. I think Gruber did a tweet asking if you have one, how is it holding up? And like 80% of the votes were saying it was terrible. So don't buy a
55.
FineWoven
All
case.
of which would be fine
Sorry.
if it didn't cost $60. But
It's-
it does. So there's that.
Is that the same cost as the original? Like before they went FineWoven?
Well, I think because they got rid of leather.
leather,
So
yeah,
this is the first year of FineWoven, but the leather one was, I think, even more expensive, maybe. So it's like, it's not a cheap case. You can get a $20 case that will fall apart just like this one. But the fact that this was Apple's and it's $60 is why I think why people are more mad about
I
that.
mean, I would be mad if this was a $20 case and this is what it looked like after
$20?
6 months.
It's at this point for $20, you're getting a case just to protect the phone.
Dude, this looks so bad. Like, this looks gross to hold.
But it's still protecting the phone.
Yeah, but I would get the ick when it's like in my hand. Like, I would be like,
feel like-
I don't want to hold this anymore.
I feel like there's like tiers of how much you spend. Like if you spend $0 to $18 on a case, it's like it's just so I don't break my phone. And then when you spend like $20 to $50, it's like I want to protect my phone and kind of like it a little the way it looks. And if I spend over that, it's because I think I'm gonna love this case.
I don't disagree with you, but for $20, I can find something that protects my phone and I'm not disgusted to hold in my hand.
I think that's a good challenge.
What's a good challenge? A $20
A
case?
$20 case
That's not this gross after 6 months?
Yeah.
Oh, I could do that, no problem.
you know, all the clear ones like turn yellow after a little while.
They still don't feel like
That's fair.
that. That looks disgusting.
It does look pretty.
That looks so gross.
It's not a patina at all. That's tough. That's a tough look.
Hey everyone, Ellis here. Welcome to the Clips outro. If you watched the full episode of this week's pod, you might have noticed us arguing about pies and egg dishes for a little bit. So I thought I'd throw a little bonus not for points trivia question here for the clear pie enjoyers among us. So specifically savory pies, and specifically I want to know, cottage pie and shepherd's pie share all of their ingredients except for one.
Can I just tell you, and I tried to tell you this yesterday, I think. I think a lot of us know the Pod Quiz trivia. You have mentioned this so many times that this was a question on Pod Quiz, and I got it right because of.
Hell yeah.
So yes,
Is it the cheese?
no.
There's no cheese in either dish.
Why
Do
is
you
it called
know?
cottage pie?
Cottage pie and shepherd's pie share all ingredients except for one.
Flour?
Shepherd's pie has lamb, cottage pie has beef.
Let's go, Andrew. Savory meat pie genius over there. Make sure to like and subscribe. Oh, make sure to like and subscribe.